The Injustice for All era starts now. Don't go anywhere. As some of you may know, the Injustice for All album is the reason I started my channel. And that's because the album notoriously had no bass, and then they were going to remaster it, and there was a possibility they were going to remix it with louder bass. It never happened. It pissed me off. So I said, I'm going to do it myself. And while I was at it, I took a look at the Cliff stuff. Let's have a very real conversation about Metallica and their bass. On their first 4 albums, it's almost non-existent. You can hear Cliff on the first album, Kill 'Em All. But on the second album, Ride the Lightning, and the third album, Master of Puppets, not so much. Then you get to Injustice for All, and they turn the new bass player down, Jason Newsted, way down to where you can't even hear him. Then their 5th album, the producer says, you guys have no bass, you guys need bass. And they produce an album that has a lot of bass, and what happens? They sell the #1 metal album of all time. So you could say that their albums would sound better with bass. But here's the thing, it's not just the sound of the bass. It's what Cliff and Jason were actually playing. Their parts are killer. And why you would turn those down, I don't know, it's beyond me. But let's just take a closer look at this first song, Blackened. The main event! Written by James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Jason Newsted, Blackened is the first song on Metallica's 4th album, Injustice for All. Jason Curtis Newsted, born March 4th, 1963, was the co-founding member of thrash metal band Flotsam and Jetsam and the core songwriter of the band, responsible for their 2 demos, Iron Tears and Metal Shock, and their thrash metal masterpiece, Doomsday for the Deceiver. Jason was handpicked by Metallica to be Cliff Burton's replacement as their bass player and served the band from 1987 to 2000. He's also been involved in such bands as Voivod, Echo Brain, and his own bands, Newsted and the Chop House Band. So this is Cliff Burton's bass track for Disposable Heroes. As you can see, I split it many times so that it would line up rhythmically with the drums of the remastered audio. Let's take a closer look though. And as you can see, these are transients. His transients are very mountainous, and there's lots of valleys and peaks and all kinds of things. That's because his signal was not compressed. And because of that, YouTube compression really did a number on his bass tracks, and I had to really split them a lot to get them to line up with the remaster. Now let's take a look at Blackened. And this is Jason's signal. You see this big, fat, flat bar? He was heavily compressed. And because of that, there's way less splits required to get it to line up with the remastered audio. Now let's take a look at Jason's bass track. Monstrous. This is how it sounds with the album. Fierce. And this is what we got on the album. Brutal. But they could do that. But I'm here to fix that, so I'm going to be giving you all the Justice songs with all the Jason bass tracks. Stay tuned for more. So all told, the Blackened bass track had 25 splits across 6 minutes and 42 seconds, which is 1 split every 16.08 seconds. This was a cakewalk compared to some of the Cliff Burton tracks. To show you what I'm talking about, this is Ride the Lightning. That said, this song, Ride the Lightning, the title track of the album Ride the Lightning, had a whopping 292 splits across 6 minutes and 36 seconds, which equates to 1 split every 1.36 seconds. And now it's time once again for the In-Album Lifeline segment, brought to you as always by Fresh Produce. No, not the brand, the concept. Eat your fruits and veggies. In this segment, I always ask the question, would I trade? Well, the question is, with there being 5 songs available from the Guitar Hero leaks for this album, and 9 songs on the album, means 4 of them don't have isolated bass tracks. Would I trade to get one for a song that doesn't have one, or vice versa? In the case of Blackened, there is a bass track, but it was written by Jason, who is the bass player, so the answer is no, I would not trade. And speaking of songs that don't have an isolated bass track on this album, this is where my friend Ian Rushforth and I are currently at with Eye of the Beholder. It's not quite there yet, but it's almost there. Blackened is done. The Re-Remastered song comes out today. Look for the demastered and bass only videos coming very soon, and the Injustice for All title track is next. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is the Metallica Re-Remastered series. Stay tuned for more. Blackened is done. You idiot.